Welcome back, YouTube. So in today's video, we're going to do a Dogecoin price update. I wanted to cover this primarily because I'm seeing some interesting things on the charts here as far as where we're sitting with the liquidity and also comparing some of the indicators here. They're all pretty much pointing, and it's rare that you can have multiple indicators kind of all say the same thing. Typically, it's best to operate with just one or at least a couple, but I'm seeing a pattern here, and it's looking like we're getting some strong indications that we're going to have a positive move here. As we've seen with Bitcoin, typically Bitcoin goes first, which we've seen a positive move with Bitcoin. And we're going to get into the chart here to see what the chart is saying for Dogecoin. So, and of course, we'll take a look at shorts too. So as of right now, we'll see that we're at the top level as far as for our liquidity pools, which is around that, what is this, 712 mark. And we've pretty much been bouncing off of that pool of liquidity up until our 200-day moving average, which is this red line here. The 72 is this orange here, and the 21 is going to be hidden behind these candles. You'll see that 21 kind of smoothing out. But overall, we'll be bouncing off of that liquidity level and hitting the 200-day and then bouncing down. It's literally been playing ping pong in between that area. And it's not a bad thing. That just means that as we kind of predicted, when we were looking at this line here based off of even test in the past, this has been a really strong level of support for Doge. Obviously, the lower it gets, the easier it is to kind of have that spring back up. It's just like going deeper into pool of liquidity, or just imagine compressing a spring a lot. The farther down you push it, the easier it is for it to pop back up, which is what we saw right here. We had that dip down to around like a low like 6 range here, and then we had like all consecutive green candles right back up. And you can kind of see that was kind of coming here. If you take a look at the 21 and see us crossing our 72 and the 200, and then of course in slight fashion we literally had that sell off, and same thing down here on RSI. And the reason I have the RSI up here is because if you look here, Doge has been pretty consistent with the reading on the RSI as far as for where we typically like to have our sell-offs. We have, it's pretty much been pretty balanced. So we had the overshoot here. When this is the Elon purchase of Twitter, we came down, reached our oversold portion, came back up, retested the 70, back down, and had the overshoot down here on the sell end. And now we typically don't start having that sell off to around like the 66 to 70 range. And we are roughly at around like the 50, 41 range, 41 to 50 range here, if you're looking at the trailing indicators and stuff as well. So this means that we have still some room here before we can even say, okay, well, we're at a position of selling off. And we're seeing this curve here on our short-term indicator. So what we're looking at is possibly a retest to the upside here. And it's not uncommon for us to actually go above it as well. We've done it on some previous cycles a couple times. We'll kind of have that overshoot on the 70, especially coming from this range. So that retest will put us at around 10 cents from where we are right now. So that's about a 30% increase here if we see that momentum. The biggest thing that we're going to have to see, obviously, is because the time of this video coming out is what Powell's going to do, and if that's going to shift some liquidity in the market overall, so that he could do something shocking to invalidate this video and what I'm saying. But for the most part, we've kind of priced in what we think he's going to do, which is around the 25 basis points. But by the time you're seeing this video, obviously you'll have confirmation on that. But overall, what this is saying is that we still have some room here on the both sides. We're in the liquidity zone here, and we also have the room here on the RSI to have that swing up. And if you're looking at points of resistance here, that's going to be low 9s to around the 10 cent range. So it's about 30%. So keep that in mind at these current prices, because you can see, especially if we have that break, I'll say above the 200, you can expect some swing trades and stuff to kind of come in there too, because again, that's indicating that we can potentially have around that 30-cent rally before we have a retest. I'm not saying that we won't go further, but it's just saying that'll be the point where based off of history here, that's where the liquidity starts to kind of weaken out, and we'll have to build strength again to kind of retest something higher. So at the moment, let's take a look here at the shorts. It's been pretty dead lately. Yeah. So not playing a huge factor. They haven't been trickling in or anything like that. And the volume also has been a contributing factor as well to which one is sideways, because if you take a look here at the volume, it's been relatively low. And typically we have that uptick in volume when there's like confidence in the market and or there's some news around like Dogecoin. So it's been kind of quiet lately. So it's not abnormal to kind of see the volume low here. So that's why I always check the shorts here when we have low volume, because typically they'll try and attack it or push it down to around this mid level. But volume's been kind of calm, shorts have been kind of calm, so nothing crazy to try and attack it down. But as I was saying that in the title of the video, Bitcoin typically goes first, and you'll see Bitcoin has been on a tear here. Yeah, so we're around like the 28 mark. So overall, the next stop for Bitcoin before he starts to get some contention here is going to be around like the 30,000 mark. So, but you'll see here on RSI, it's approaching, it's like 71. So if you look here, but again, with crypto, you can certainly have that overshoot, but when you have that overshoot to one side, you typically have it balanced out. We went from the overshoot all the way down to, went from an extreme to another extreme. I'll say that. And before this extreme, take a look here, we ran another extreme. So you have to kind of, it's literally like that rubber band analogy. The farther you pull it this way, the farther it bounces back the other way. So this is how, one of the things that I'm using for Doge to kind of say, okay, well, we still have the potential here to kind of have a run to retest here, because we still have that momentum. And not necessarily saying that we go as far as to the extreme, but going down to the oversold, we typically hit both of those measurements relatively quickly. So we went from an extreme here, not extreme as far as for overshoot, but this is certainly an extreme, and we had one back here. So, but typically we like to consolidate around like 66 to 71. So that's when I'll keep an eye on this, obviously, as I make videos and stuff. But as we get closer to around 66 to 71, we can check a look at the price action and kind of see where we're at and say, okay, well, we might kind of see a sell-off at this point. But overall, based off of liquidity pools, RSI, SMAs and stuff that we're looking at here and where we're trending on the chart, it's looking like we can expect an uptick relatively soon. So obviously we'll check in again after Powell's message and kind of make sure everything still aligns. But that is the Dogecoin price update. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Let me know how you're feeling. I know the volume is a little bit low right now, so it seems sluggish. Let me know your plans going forward in the comment section. I love to hear from you. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.